You guys recently got renewed for season 5. What was the cast reaction to that like? What was it?
Feels good. We're
Yeah.
happy to still be going. I think now more than ever, it's kind of like every season is a blessing. Every chance we get to shoot is a blessing. So, to hear the news, amidst the time that we're going through right now is all pretty great, pretty, I think, reassuring, and also really exciting that we get to tell another season's worth of story, and we get to, head in more directions and see where we take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially this is a super unsure time. Do you guys have any idea of like what the filming is going to look like or the schedule at all? Yeah.
Listen, you know as much as I do. I have no idea when we're opening up again. Um,
But
who
it's out.
knows? Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll see what goes on. We know that it's coming. We just don't know when.
Yeah, yeah. You guys, your fans will be like super excited. Was there any challenging part about joining a show with such an established fan base?
Um, no, I think it was actually really really fun because from watching the show progress over the years and watching the fan engagement, it's kind of lucky for me to be able to get to see before I step into it where it's headed. When we start a new show, you never really know what the reaction is going to be. You never really know what the reception is going to be. So when you join the show, you kind of have seen what already happens and what you're in store for. So yeah.
You know, people like it, so
Yeah, exactly. It's still around. So it
exactly.
can't be doing that bad with the audience.
And they're super vocal on Twitter and all those
Mhm.
outlets. Have you seen any like particularly funny responses to your character or anything like stuff out? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. My favorite thing, one of my favorite things about the show is the Twitter engagement. Like, the fans get the show trending every weekend. It's almost a point of pride to see such vocal and strong reactions. As far as Andrew goes, man, I think people were surprised to see him come through with the wobble last week. So I think that was
I
just
I was like okay, I see
that
it.
caught people's eye a little bit. But yeah, no, every week there's something ridiculous, something funny. And the greatest thing about the fans is that they're so into it that there's always all these plot lines and all these like, fan fiction
Yeah.
ideas of what's going on. There's this one thing I saw a friend sent me was this Reddit thread where there's the theory that Latoya is actually Andrew's sister, and that's why he doesn't want to talk about it because she's missing
Okay. Oh, Latoya from like that show that they're
from the
always
show
watching.
within the
That
show.
would be. I don't think that's too far fetched. I think they're onto something there, and I'm
Yeah, we'll
gonna think
see.
about
I don't know. Maybe they're right. They
maybe
don't tell us nothing, so I don't
season
know.
5. It's all coming. But a big thing this past weekend was obvious, and the weekend before was like the Issa Molly beef has become
Mm.
so polarizing. Were you guys expecting that reaction from people, like such a strong stance?
Interesting, because I mean, everyone identifies with one person or other in the show, and so when it comes to a point where it's like so kind of like aggressive, the break between these two, people have become to really stand at odds and really examine how they feel about the behavior of each person
Mm-hmm.
and how they feel they're reflected in it. Um, I didn't think that it was going to be as serious as it is, but I guess people have been following this show for 4 years now, so you really do develop emotional investment in these guys, and so when somebody acts out or acts a way that you don't agree with, it's almost like one of your friends that you've known for 4 years acting out in a way, and you almost want to pull them in by the ear and just like check their behavior. But
Yeah,
obviously, it's a show; we can't do it. We just got to watch it unfold. But yeah, it's been surprisingly passionate, but also it makes sense.
yeah, because people identify like they recognize things
I feel
happening.
like that's the worst part though. Like when you see that behavior happening and you get so mad at it on screen, but it
Yeah,
kind of reflects a little bit of truth in your life, and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. It's not too fictional. It's
yeah, that's why I'm so mad about
yeah,
it because I
exactly.
did that before.
Some of Molly's I was like, let me not get too
Yep,
into it.
yep, yeah.
Where
Her
do you
mouth gets her
stand?
in trouble sometimes, and I'm guilty of that. So whenever I watch Molly, I'm also like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah. You're like, oh, it's too. Where do you stand on the whole thing? Where do you?
I like to look at myself as Switzerland.
Okay, fair. That's fair. Your character's kind of Switzerland too.
Well, that's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
I look at it from Andrew's point of view,
Mhm.
where Andrew knows that Molly and Issa are not on good terms right now, but he also knows that in the long run they're best friends,
Yeah.
and so they're going to be all right. And so he tried to play the long game with it. He was like,
Yeah.
okay, let me come through now, because in 3 months' time you're going to turn around and be like, I'm glad we helped her out.
Mhm.
However,
That
the
kind of,
blow up that happened was unlike anything we've ever seen before,
yeah.
and so Andrew was not ready for that. And
At
so
all.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Issa was wrong to go behind Molly's back, but at the same time, Molly got to learn how to choose her words.
Yeah.
Because
And
that,
when and where. I'm saying,
where I said to Yvonne, I said, y'all needed to talk 3 episodes ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You should have talked before
The build
Thanksgiving.
up.
That's where I'm at in my mind. But again, it's the show. We don't get to make any changes our own. We got to watch it unfold.
Gotta let the
And that's
writers
how it
do it.
unfolded.
Did you expect your character, because he's been here for a while now and he's gotten a bit of development and there seems to be still more to explore with him. Did you expect when you signed on that he would get so much time?
No, no, I had no idea. I mean, obviously, you hope as an actor, you hope for like something that you can really sink your teeth into and work with. But I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what direction they wanted to take it in. I just know that they were looking for somebody, with a strong personality that could match Molly's energy, and that's what I was working on from the start. But as things developed, as we learned more about his job and we learned more about who, how he and Molly are fitting into this relationship, how they're making it work, it just kind of dawned on me of like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess he's kind of in this. So it came to be what it came to be.
Absolutely. Your tweet I saw, it was like, because obviously the fans are so into things, you did the whole leave Britney alone, which I loved. It's one of my favorites. How do you feel about people who can't really separate the actor from the character?
Um, it's good and bad. I try to look at it as though it's a compliment on people's ability, their acting ability, to be like, all right, the performance was so realistic and so believable that you believe that that is the person.
Mm.
But at the same time, you need to remember when you're lashing out these people. Like, we like to engage with our fans and we like to engage on Twitter and so on. You got to remember that we're still human beings as well, and that Yvonne is not Molly. Yvonne got told to say the words that Molly said, and she got told to behave the way that Molly behaved, and so especially I feel like everyone's quarantining in isolation and things like that.
So things are
So
festering.
for the overwhelming engagement to be so negative, I think it's you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So I sent that out because I thought it was just a fun way to also remind us all that like Yvonne is not Molly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so like if Andrew ends up putting his foot in it, I hope people remember that I am not Andrew.
That was like your pre-warning for when Andrew messes up. Don't.
Just in case, if anything goes sideways with him, remember that I am
It's
not
all
him.
fake. It's not real.
Yes. Thankfully, if you just hear me talk, you can also distinguish the two.
That was what I was gonna say. I was like, why couldn't your character be Australian?
Well,
Because I heard Yvonne like
Insecure reps LA, and it represents a very specific kind of previously underrepresented, side of LA.
yeah.
If Andrew was Australian, it would kind of detract from the love letter to LA the way that it is. I mean, even though there are so many Australians in LA.
I was gonna say, I think there are a lot of
the weather. Australians just found the weather and they were like, all right, I'm gonna stay here.
Besides Andrew, and the characters are also like, realistic and we can all kind of identify parts of ourselves in the characters. Are there any other characters where you're like, oh, I can see myself doing that, or I see myself acting that way?
I think I definitely see parts of myself in Molly, but I also see parts of myself in Daniel.
Oh, okay. And in what way?
Like Daniel is, to me, what I got from him was like, he's just this dude who's he's trying to, sort of man up. He's trying to, become a man. He's trying to, be himself in the process. But sometimes those things are at odds, being a man versus being yourself. And that's where it gets really difficult to like, that's sort of the between the lines where no one really taught you how to behave. And so you need to kind of learn and, make some mistakes in the process of what being your own man looks like. So I think I identify with both Molly and him, because Molly, she's quick fire with her words, and that's me too. I can definitely sometimes overstep and say too much. So I'm gonna like work on that. And so
We're all on a journey,
100%.
And you've had like kind of a unique path to acting. You had like a rugby injury, is what I saw.
I did. I had a rugby injury. I'm wearing shorts right now, so I'm
Oh,
looking at the scars on my knee. I never
oh,
wear shorts, but I'm
pardon?
wearing because I never wear shorts, but I'm wearing shorts because I'm at home.
You know?
Um, but I had a knee injury that I had to get a knee reconstruction, and I had to basically stay on the couch for 2 weeks because I couldn't move. I was in like a wheelchair and stuff. And I just ended up watching a bunch of movies every single day, movie after movie after movie. And it just kind of dawned on me that I loved acting in high school.
Mhm.
And I was like, I think I want to do that. I want to give that a shot. And I never in a million years thought it was going to work. I was like, I'll do it for a couple of years, enjoy it, and then go get a real job. But then acting turned into my real job, and I'm extremely grateful.
That's such a cool like way to come to things. Like I feel like you don't really.
Yeah. I mean, I was at a point where, I was in my early 20s, and something that I wanted to, something I'd committed myself to rugby. I wanted to play professionally. That was sort of taken away from me. And so I really was left not knowing what to do. And I was still at a point where I deemed myself young enough to just go and try something
Yeah.
for myself because I wanted to, before I had to make any real, lifelong decisions. Come to it, almost 10 years later, I realized that there's no too late moment. There's no point where you have to make lifelong decisions. So I'm just really glad that I was able to, jump on that when I had the motivation and the energy to do so.
And if a role for a rugby player ever comes around, you can.
We'll give it a shot. I definitely, I
You'll
lost
know
a
what
lot of
you'll
weight
know what's
since
happening.
then. So, yeah, I could play like the small guy.
Yeah.
In my role these days.
But you've been involved on Insecure in so many. I've noticed like you were in the Coachella scene, you were in the scene at Issa's event. Those are all huge scenes that things kind of go haywire. What is it like to film those, and are there any things that go wrong with such huge scenes?
You'll notice it was episode 5 of last season as well. I don't know why they choose episode 5 to be the most insane shoots. No, I think, look, it's such a professional production. Everyone's operating at the top of their game. So yes, there is so much going on, but you always feel taken care of. I've never felt, like I was unsafe at any point or anything like that. I definitely maybe felt some moments where I might die of hypothermia, but
Oh, is it
that
cold?
it's cold in LA at night, and
I
we're
did not.
shooting overnights. We're shooting these overnights for like 3
Oh.
nights in a row. It
Or maybe
gets
you're just too
cold.
accustomed to Australia, LA warmth, and you're just like,
I don't know about this. Like, I do love it. I love cold nights because I love wearing hoodies and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But if for continuity you were wearing a t-shirt during the daytime shoot, you have to wear that same t-shirt during the nighttime shoot.
Oh, so it's
And
like,
so you're freezing, you're frozen. Yeah, and there's an episode coming up where I think I still get nightmares from how cold I was. But that remains to be seen.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. There's so much going on. There's hundreds of people, and there's talking huge, like what we just saw at the block party. We have Vince Staples performing on stage, which is insane in its own right, and Sir and everybody else. It feels quite special, to be shutting down Market Street in Inglewood to shoot and to choreograph a 400-person wobble is kind of unreal. It's the stuff that you sort of dream of when you're in acting school or when you're in theater school and stuff. So to be able to be a part of it and in such a large scale, yeah, it is extreme. It's a lot, but it's also so much fun.
Yeah. Did the wobble require much like prep time, or was everyone
I'm
there?
Australian. I have no idea what the wobble
You
is.
didn't?
I had no idea until
That's,
until I saw
that's like my entire upbringing is that damn.
I know, no, I see that. My girlfriend, she told me how to wobble. She was like,
That was your prep.
this." She's like, this is gonna come in handy because it's gonna happen at some Thanksgiving at some point. This is just it's
And
in the
what was
arsenal.
that?
Now I have it. I'm grateful. But it was kind of cool. I mean, obviously, you know, it's one of the few shows on TV that's predominantly black.
Hmm.
Therefore, most people already knew what the wobble was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to out anybody. There was someone who didn't know what it was. That wasn't me, but that's
Oh,
okay. That's not their job.
was it a main cast member?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
It was no, I'm not gonna get.
That's the mystery of our age now is
Yeah,
who on
exactly.
Insecure
Who
didn't.
was it?
Yeah,
Try and see if you can spot
I'm gonna go rewatch now.
it. But no, I think it was pretty easy to get together. I mean, all the writers were trying to show us up and everything as well. Everyone knew how to wobble.
So you are, as you mentioned, you're like the sole Asian representation on this show.
Yeah.
So did you feel any sort of pressures with that, or was it kind of just more of like pride or?
No, not really. I mean, yes, there was like the odd joke or something about it here or there, but like the biggest thing about the role, about the character, wasn't the fact that he was Asian. It was them trying to work out this relationship. Like if it was more about specifically because he's Asian, it was no, the guy happens to be Asian, and they were intentional about Andrew being Asian, but it wasn't to make a point of this can't work or this can work and so on and so forth. It was really just, I don't know. It was just happenstance, and so I feel really good about that. It makes me feel like we're creating more organic space
Yeah.
for Asian characters to just be Asian, and so I didn't feel like I needed to do anything revolutionary. I could just be myself, and that was enough. That was okay, and it seems like people are responding to that.
Yeah, definitely. This term that the Asian Bay term that's caught on, do you like that, or are you like kind of just with
Yeah, it's cool.
it's there? It's
Um,
really caught fire. That's like how
yeah,
Twitter's been.
I'm not. I mean, it's gotten to the point where like it's in the show, So it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't, I'm not bothered by it. I mean, it's kind of funny. Back in 2018, when when the season 3 aired, it was kind of like this point where it was a bit funny ultimately that like
Mhm.
the term Asian Bay would be considered progress for us
Yeah,
because that's how underrepresented we are in media.
yeah,
So I kind of look at it at that point of like, okay, cool. Like it's just like it's like a small milestone that we've reached and that we can succeed from there and move on to more encompassing aspects of Asian representation. I feel like it's a nice moment, and I hope that we can build upon it.
hmm. So obviously, does the show's airing during this like super isolating time? Has it helped you guys that you have it to look forward to like live tweet during quarantine and all that?
I mean, I would say yes, but also just from being a fan of the show,
Hmm.
from the standpoint of being a fan, it's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a comedy to look forward to in these times. I've realized I only really want to watch comedy.
No, yeah, same. I feel
Yeah,
that
because any drama is just too much for me. I don't need any more
life is
drama
enough.
happening.
Life is
And
Game of
then
Thrones out
obviously Issa and Molly had to go and explode at each other, causing more drama when it's supposed to be comedy.
there.
um, no, it's a point that had to happen to set up the rest of the season, and I can't wait for that to come out. But I think aside from being a fan, it's also nice to have something that we worked really hard on
Hmm.
to be appreciated in the time that it is right now. We worked hard on this regardless of whenever it was going to air.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be the best possible, but for it to be at a point where for half an hour every week we can help people sort of escape whatever's going on right now. That I feel like that means more than anything else.
Definitely. And last question, you spoke on the comedies that you like to enjoy. What are your recommendations for people who are like trying to just ease boredom?
Anything by Adam McKay.
Fair enough.
And his is sort of like in between comedy drama as well. But I find his work so funny. Succession,
Oh,
obviously anything with Will Ferrell in it. But what did we just start? We just started rewatching A Different World.
oh,
So
oh, someone compared Amanda Seals' character with Whitley, I saw on a different.
interesting.
I was like, that's
Okay, okay, I can see it. I can see it.
yeah.
What we're doing is we just did Succession with the Newsroom. We did like a back to back, and so
Oh,
now we're doing another back to back with The Office and A Different World. So
that's a
it's
good combo, I feel like.
yeah, it's just like it just lets. We like having something to go back and forth between.
Yeah. You
I've
gotta
been
get
doing
on
it a
Succession.
lot.
That's your HBO buddy.
Yeah, shout out to the family.
Yeah, yeah.
It's it's one of my favorite shows now.
It's dope. I love it.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the next season.
I know.
But
I hope they're filming. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know if they are right now, but fingers crossed they can get started soon.
You know? Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Of course, man. Of course.
And I
Thank you
hope
very much.
your quarantine goes well. You don't go too crazy.
Likewise. Likewise.